Yo, what up, a-holes? Thank you for tuning into the Holistic A-Hole podcast. My name is Eric Levi, and I'm the Holistic A-Hole. How in the heck are you doing today? Hope you're doing well. Wanted to bust out this podcast here, it being the couple days here before Memorial Day weekend, aka the beginning of the summer. And it's a big weekend to break in, to welcome in the summer, to welcome in the warm weather. Unless you live in somewhere like Arizona where it's been hot since February. Here in the Northeast, it's summertime, baby. And people are going to be heading out there into the city or out into the suburbs, going to look for something to do, going to people's backyards, going to do a little cookout or a barbecue, or inflate the above ground pool, and throw out the slip and slide, and throw on the bathing suit or go to the beach or whatever you're doing. It's going to be a great weekend, a great time. But of course, this isn't a time for you to stop being a holistic a-hole. Definitely not. Especially if you're on some kind of diet, whether it's a vegan diet or even a keto diet. Lord have mercy. But whatever it is, you're going to be wondering, what do I do at this cookout or this party where there's all this delicious food and I don't know if I can have any of it? Well, that's why I'm putting out this podcast today, to kind of help you make some holistic decisions and make sure that you can continue being the a-hole you want to be, even when temptation is right there in your face, and especially when you want to just be kind of a normal person and celebrate the introduction to summer 2018. But before I do that, I first want to throw a shout out there to everybody who is listening to the first time, or even if you've listened before, thanks for coming back. If you haven't done this already, make sure you subscribe to the episode or subscribe to the podcast. That way you can be notified every single time a new episode of the Holistic A-Hole podcast comes out, which is about twice a week. And you'll get that popping up right there in your podcast player. So hit the subscribe button no matter what you're listening to this on. Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Castbox. You're on the Android, you're on the iPhone, you're on the flip phone, you're on your computer, your iPad, whatever it is. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. And if you enjoy the podcast, go on to iTunes, leave a 5-star review with a nice little comment, and then be sure to go check out all the Holistic A-Hole social mediums: Facebook, Holistic A-Hole, Twitter and Instagram, at Holistic A-Hole. Go to the Holistic A-Hole YouTube page, where you're going to find all the Holistic A-Hole videos, including a new vegan Trump supporter video that was just put out today. Every week, those are new eps of the Holistic A-Hole vegan Trump supporter or paleo hacker coming out. So get in the circle, be social with me, and let's keep the movement a churning away. So, like I said at the beginning, it is a couple days before Memorial Day weekend. As I record this, you might be listening to it throughout Memorial Day weekend. You might be listening to this years into the future, when there is no Memorial Day. There's just going to be a day where all the robots come out with their human organs and human brains and invite people to their barbecues, which is just a laboratory, and then they inject us with some kind of robot serum, and then we just stop interacting as humans, and only the robots take over, and Kim Jong-un conquers America, and the Iran deal is never to be seen again, and essentially we don't have an America anymore. We'll just be a continent full of individual castes or something. I don't know. I don't know what that little sidetrack was, but what I'm saying is, you might be listening to this on Memorial Day weekend, and maybe you came here because you're stressing, right? You're stressing a lot, because that's what diets do. They stress you out. You make this intention at probably your lowest point in your life or in your year. You wake up the next morning after a binge. You binge ate the night before, the day before. Maybe you drank too much. Maybe you smoked too much weed, or you just ate insane amounts of everything. You ate carbs, you ate protein, you ate fat, You're eating all the different flavors from all over the world. You ate too much Mexican food, too much Italian food. You loaded up on eggs and omelets, and you just got that meat hangover with the meat sweats. Or maybe you just overdid it as a vegan too much, and you just swallowed down all these unhealthy grains and starches. And, you were like, as long as no animals are dying, this pound cake is totally fine because it's made from wheat flour. And since gluten allergies aren't a real thing, I just ate as much as I wanted. And then you came to that point where you're like, Jesus Christ, I need to go on a diet. I got this nasty fat roll under my titty roll, and, I'm sweating out of every orifice in my body, and it's 68 degrees outside, and I'm breathing heavy just walking up the stairs, and you did that. You made that commitment. You found some crazy diet on the internet. Again, whether it was keto, paleo, Atkins, vegan, plant-based, or some strict, 30-day whole, the 30 whole grain diet, or whatever that diet is, whatever these trendy diets are, you found one and you're like, this is it. This is where things change. I'm going to get that six-pack like I had 30 years ago when I was in high school, and, I'm going to just be ripped, and I'm going to, walk around. I'm going to feel great, and you committed, and the first day you got on the diet, and you made it all the way through, and it felt like torture, but you were like, okay, the first day's out of the way. Now it's just smooth sailing from here, and then the rest of the days of that first week of the diet was just still as much or more torture as the first day, but you did it. You made it through. You got through the week. Maybe you lost a couple pounds. You got on the scale, and the scale starts looking a little lower than it was at the beginning of the week, and you're feeling it. You're feeling the momentum, and you're like, oh, yeah, man, I'm a little lighter now. I've lost some pounds. Surely that must mean I'm on the right course for this whole dieting thing, and you keep going. You go into the second week and the third week, and you start slowly but surely getting back in the gym, and you're even going out to happy hours with the coworkers, and they're eating nachos and queso and buffalo wings and french fries and beer and vodka sodas, and you're going out to the clubs, but you're not drinking. You're just hanging tough to this diet, and you've been going since maybe April or even March. You're 2 months into this diet, and then holy mother of God, it's Memorial Day weekend. And what does that mean? It means it's the beginning of summer and everybody's pumped. Especially in the Northeast, we've just went through this brutal winter. It was just freezing cold every single day. And now that shit's over, and it's summertime, and it's time to go to the beach, and it's time to start planning vacations. And Memorial Day weekend is the weekend that we introduce summer into the calendar year, and everybody's going out and throwing barbecues, and you got invited to some barbecues, and you're excited, and you're going to go, and they're going to have all your most favoriteest foods that you've ever loved in your life. There's going to be burgers and cheeseburgers and ribs and all kinds of white flour gluten buns, and someone's going to bring donuts, and they're going to fucking figure out how to put the donuts on the cheeseburgers, and you're going to put on the ketchup and the mustard and the relish. Oh my God, my mouth is just watering just saying all of these delicious, delectable words. But yet, you're feeling like this is going to be too much pressure. Because yeah, sure, someone might bring a box of donuts into the office, and you've got the iron will, because that doesn't faze you, because you've got your Cliff Bar or your Go-Gurt or whatever scammy diet bar or drink or powder or pill that you're using. Whatever it is, it's kept you away from that box of donuts. But there's something about the barbecue. There's something about those cookouts that you go and you smell the smoke from the grill, even burning the burgers or the hot dogs. And you're like, what do I do? What are you going to do? You're going to sit around a barbecue? Because it's not like going to a bar or happy hour. Those seem to be kind of okay to get away with saying, well, look, I'm not drinking right now. I'm not eating shit food right now. So, I'll just have a little thing of hummus or a salad with a seltzer water or something. It's a little bit more manageable in those situations because they're not, as they say, special. But again, those barbecues, those cookouts with all your closest friends, maybe even friends that you haven't seen for a long time, Someone might even bring some weed and everyone's smoking up. And then what happens when you smoke? Oh man, the munchies hit you. And then you're like, damn it, those hot dogs smell so good, but they're so terrible. And they're just going to destroy my whole diet. I've done good with the Weight Watchers points. Dr. Atkins is spinning around in his grave. He's so proud of you. But man, you hit that barbecue and fucking all bets are off. So what do? How do you work around? The barbecue cravings? Well, there's a couple things I think you could do to kind of make that situation a little easier. The first thing that I would think, or that I would recommend that you do is, first and foremost, don't avoid these things. Don't avoid them because you're on a diet. That's the dumbest reason. It's the dumbest reason to not do anything because you're on a diet. You got to live your life. What's the point of losing weight or the point of, cutting carbs or cutting meat or whatever if you can't enjoy your life, if you can't go out and have a good time? And don't get it confused. I'm not saying that food ultimately is what your happiness depends on. I know there's these people out there that are like, I live to eat. And then you have the people who are like, I eat to live. Which one is the right? It doesn't matter. At some point in your life, you're gonna be doing both. You're gonna be doing either way. Sometimes, man, you live to eat. Sometimes it's like, God damn it, especially in New York City, all these, quote unquote foodies running around, they live to eat. And I can't hate them because they're enjoying their lives. Even though they're perpetuating this just awful, lazy, hipster, fucking millennial stereotype, or they're propagating all of this just awful chemically laden GMO farm raised industrial agriculture food. But then you also have the people who are like, I eat to live, and eating is just not a thing, and but for a lot of people, eating's a big deal. So what do? Don't not do you is what I would say. Don't not do you. Do you. Whatever you want to do. Don't let a diet destroy your life or make things weird between you and friends, Don't let a diet make you an introvert and make you afraid of eating the foods that you like and you can control yourself around. Don't turn yourself into this thing that you're not, At the same time, don't let your whole identity be surrounded by food, There's plenty of ways to circumvent food temptations and food cravings. First and foremost, remember, a food craving is just a mental reaction, That's just a hormone that gets sent from your hypothalamus, from your thyroid, hypothalamus, not your thyroid, from your hypothalamus, called ghrelin. The ghrelin shoots down around your body and it's like, I'm hungry as fuck. But you're not hungry. The body can go days and weeks and months without actual food. It's just your brain saying, man, I want a goddamn donut. Done a donut. And there's no reason for it. It's just, it was a trigger of some sort, You walked into the office on a Friday. And for Fridays, for the last years that you've worked in this office, somebody always brings some crazy-ass donuts in from some hipster little bakery around the corner where they make just fucking, they put Frosted Flakes and Lucky Charms on donuts with just some insane glaze. And, you've always just been like, Friday's fucking donut day. And then you just, every time Friday comes around, or you go in your office on a Friday, you start thinking about donuts. And you start saying like, man, I would really love a donut. That is not your stomach. That is not your body's biological need for a donut. That's your brain saying, donut time, baby. That's your hypothalamus shooting out this ghrelin hormone being like, God damn it, get me a goddamn donut now. But you don't really want donuts. Same thing at the barbecue. Go to the barbecue, yeah, man, you're going to start thinking about burgers and hot dogs and all this stuff, you know? If you know you really want to stick to your diet, then you have to overpower that thought. You know what I mean? You have to overpower that thought. Basically, what you got to do is when that thought hits you and you're like, man, I would really, oh, God, I'm just craving a burger right now. If you really want to stay strong on your diet, then what you do is that feeling that says, I want a donut, you go, hey, feeling. You have to address the feeling like it's a person. You have to address the feeling like you're breaking up with it. Like it's a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and you don't want to be with it anymore, and you have to like break up with it. So when that feeling hits you, when that feeling of wanting a burger at the barbecue hits you, you gotta just be honest with it. You know, you gotta be like, hi, burger craving. I see you. I know you're here, and I know you want me to eat a burger because that's all that's gonna make you happy. However, we've been down this road before, burger craving, and we both know that if we get together right now and I put you in my mouth and chew a little bit with my teeth, because you know you're not going to chew the burger, it's just going to be such an intense, just chemically loaded flavor that you're not even going to chew it. You're not even going to enjoy it. It's going to go in your mouth. You're going to take 2 bites and you're going to swallow it almost whole, and your large intestine, your small intestine, your colon's going to be like, dude, mouth, seriously, why'd you do this? You know what you're getting into. So you have to be real with it. You got to be like, look, burger, we've been through this many times. We both know that if I put you in my mouth and I eat you, that this is not going to be over. Because, man, I have deprived myself from edible happiness for weeks and months. And oh my God, that first taste of a cheeseburger on your lips, oh man, it's gonna feel like heaven. And you're gonna be like, well, I guess the diet's over now. And then 20 minutes later, you're gonna be rolling on the grass in a food coma, holding your asshole together because you're about to shit yourself because you just ate so much. You probably downed 3 burgers. You probably put a hot dog on one of the burgers. You loaded it up with all the condiments. You walked around. You ate all the potato chips. You were like, this diet's over as soon as you took that first bite. And then you put yourself back in a position that you don't want to be in. So you got to address that feeling. You got to address it like you're breaking up with it. Like you know what it wants. Look, burger craving, I know you're here, but we both know this isn't going to work out. So I appreciate you coming by and saying hi and trying to make me do something I don't want to do. But right now, this just isn't going to work out for us. And the burger craving, believe it or not, will go, fine. I'll go fuck with somebody who appreciates me. And the burger craving will be gone. You address it. You look it straight in the face. You go, I don't need you right now. And you move on. That's how you stay mentally strong at a cookout or a barbecue. If you can do it. Not everybody can do it. Very few people can do it. I mean, I'd assume if you've gone so long on your diet and staying strong, especially in the face of temptation, that you have the will to do it. So you have to believe in yourself. But again, I wasn't born yesterday. I know it's difficult to have that kind of iron will. So if you want to take care of the physical part, probably the smartest thing to do is eat before you go. Eat whatever food is, in your home or whatever your diet is that's appropriate for what you're trying to accomplish. Eat something. Maybe don't fill yourself totally full, but eat something so that when you go into this situation, you're not like tempted to just run to the grill with a plate and start scooping up all that delicious barbecue food, right? Because you're not even gonna want it, right? So probably the biggest no-brainer is to just not eat, or to eat before you go. Now here's the wild card. I know this is probably a question in your mind. Maybe as soon as you saw the title of this podcast, this was the number one thing you probably thought if this was an option. Should I bring a dish to a barbecue specifically for my diet? I would say that can go either way. Could you bring a dish to a barbecue that's specific for your diet? Of course you can. However, if the dish is fucking disgusting, you're going to do more harm than good. If you bring some weird sweet potato thing that's just sweet potato and no sugar, no salt, no fun, or if you bring some kind of weird paleo salami that's, that has no other feature to it, or whatever your diet is, if you bring a Weight Watchers 2-point lean cuisine or whatever, people are going to be like, this person is out of their goddamn mind. They just are trying to mix their disgusting diet food into all this garbage that we're trying to enjoy. You're going to lose more friends than it's worth it. That's a possibility. Or if your diet food is delicious, then yeah, bring it to the freaking barbecue. When I was vegan, I ran into this all the time. And I wouldn't bring a vegan dish to a get-together or to a barbecue or a cookout or something. I just kind of would make my own way through it. I'd eat the vegetables or whatever. A lot of times they have vegetable platters or whatever. I'd eat those, or could always kind of make it happen. But everybody's got their own thing. But I also knew if I brought some weird vegan dish that, I'd lay it out there on the table, and the most insulting thing would be if nobody ate it. If I just left it there on the table and then nobody ate it, I would, my heart would be broken. Because all I'd want is for people to see what it's like in my world. People don't want to see what it's like in your world. They think you're stupid for doing a diet in the first place. They see that it's working for you. They might be a little interested, but they know they could never do that themselves. So don't try to force it on them, all right? Don't be that. Don't be the diet Nazi. Don't try to push people into a corner with your diet and lay out some bullshit that you made at home, and you probably don't even make it right, They've probably had the same thing in a restaurant, and they're like, oh, you're trying to make bean burgers? Oh, yeah, I've had bean burgers at this really good bean burger place, but your bean burgers, holy Christ, they are fucking rancid. You're going to deal with a lot more trouble than it's worth. But like I said, if you make just stellar bean burgers, or whatever your diet dish is, and you're like, everyone's going to love this, and you're totally confident in it, then yeah, by all means, bring it. And bond with people over it. That's what food was for. That's why we had fires. That's why we invented fire when we were, cavemen or whatever. We did it because we wanted people to get together at night and talk about their days and share food together. And of course, there would be that weird caveman who was on some crazy diet. He's like, all you guys are eating stegosauruses. I'm not going to eat a stegosaurus. I'm going to eat the tubers and the potatoes in the ground. And all the cavemen were like, ugh, fucking Carl, man, what a weirdo. And then Carl lost all his friends. But Carl was healthy, but he had no friends because he made a huge faux pas. He tried to push his weird vegan caveman ways on the cavemen who were living their paleo lifestyle, because that's apparently what everybody did. They just ate fucking dinosaurs all the time. And they made broth out of the bones. Go figure. Tyrannosaurus Rex, the Tyrannosaurus Rex in the Natural History Museum? That was the only one they could find. You know why? It was the only dinosaur skeleton they could find, because all the other dinosaur skeletons had been turned into dinosaur bone broth. And I hear it's delicious. Or at least that's what they wrote on the caves that they're trying to figure out. When you see the pictures of the caveman with the spear on the cave, throwing it at he's doing that so he can make dinosaur bone broth. This is just science, people. This is why you listen to the Holistic A-Hole podcast. So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. I hope you have a great and safe Memorial Day weekend. It's a 3-day weekend, so turn off your alarms. Go to the beach, go to the lake, go to a cookout. Take my advice. Share the podcast with all your friends and family who you know are going to be in a similar situation or who are trying to lose weight and are just a little stuck. Anybody who you know who benefit from this podcast, share it with them. And also make sure you find me on all the social mediums, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Thank you guys for listening. Be sure to leave a review on iTunes, and I'll catch you all on the next one. Peace.